Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. You talk to a lot of people and they'll say the great video game crash in 1983 would never happen again in a million years. While you talk to other people who'll say, yeah, it's just a matter of time of when, not if the next crash is going to happen. But what if I told you the next crash is not only going to happen, but if we were right at the beginning of it right now? The video game crash of 1983, also known as the Atari shock in Japan, was a large-scale recession in the video game industry. Occurring between the years 1983 to 1985, primarily in North America, revenues had peaked at around $3.2 billion in 1983, and then fallen to around $100 million by 1985. A drop of almost 97%. The crash was a serious enough event that it brought an abrupt end to what is widely considered the second generation of console video gaming in North America. The crash decimated the booming industry and led to the bankruptcy of several video game companies. As with every bubble or crash, there are several factors that go into why it actually happened. And with the great video game crash of 1983, the leading factor for why the crash happened was a saturated market. Does any of this sound familiar at all to you guys as far as what happened in 1983 and what's about to happen right now in 2017 going into 2018 with the oversaturated market and these free-to-play games, the casual market coming into play? There are so many factors going into what I consider the start of the video game crash right now that I have some serious concerns about the longevity of the industry as a whole. During the Animal Crossing Nintendo Direct, they discussed how it was going to involve Leaf Tickets, a freemium game with microtransactions, which, yes, it's nothing new. We all know these freemium games that have microtransactions, especially when it comes to mobile phones. It's kind of how the industry works, right? Well, the problem with this is when AAA publishers and the big hitters like Nintendo start getting in on this, that's when it becomes a gigantic problem. These casual players are like a virus to the industry, and the entire video game industry doesn't even realize how bad this is to go after this market. It's a very finicky market. They're here one day and gone the next, and they spend gobs of money where most average gamers would not be spending the money. And if you've watched any of my previous episodes on microtransactions in the AAA game market, you guys would know my stance on how I cannot stand microtransactions in games that actually cost money. I can understand them in freemium games, but I still don't like them. And here's why. It goes a lot deeper than the fact of just people spending money on a game to get further in it. My greater concern with this is that these game companies are going to start making so much money off of these freemium games and the way the pricing model works with them, that they're going to shift their focus away from actually making really good games in the future. I worry that Mario Odyssey may be the last of its kind in a very long time because of all the money and time that went into making that game, and then seeing Animal Crossing come out on mobile, and then wondering if they're going to make close to the same amount of money. Why would they put all this time and effort into a AAA title if they can make a mobile game, a freemium game, and make tons of money off of much less of an investment? I also feel like the freemium video game market is a very dangerous area. It takes advantage of a lot of people with addictive qualities, takes as much money as possible without even apologizing. It just chews you up and throws you out after they're done with that game. I don't understand why people keep falling for paying for items in freemium games when it is absolutely not necessary. I'm all for playing these games. They're fun, don't get me wrong. But the problem comes in is once you start paying for items in these games, you are the problem. You are the one contributing to the overall downfall of the entire video game market as it stands. And while it seems like freemium games and microtransactions have been around for a long time now, they've slowly increased steadily along the years on how involved they're getting with each game. And without regulation, this is going to get insane. It's like the Wild West of rulemaking. There are no rules. All these corporate bigwigs are doing whatever they can to squeeze as much money out of any person that plays their game, which, as far as corporations go, I can't blame them. They're in business to make money. But as far as the video game industry goes on the whole, this is very, very bad news for everybody involved. So do I really think the video game crash is actually beginning right now? In a way, yeah. Can it be stopped? Well, yeah, anything can be stopped with the right measures being taken, with some sort of intervention from regulation and government, or, ESRB, yeah, they're not going to get in the way of anything. But with somebody stepping in and stopping the Wild West of how they're running this freemium market, I could see it adjusting and going back in the right direction. But as it stands right now, the entire industry is spiraling down a drain to hell. And we have nobody to blame but ourselves. The industry is going to consume itself at this rate. It's going to keep taking and taking and taking until there's nothing left to take. People are going to get so sick of playing these games that they're just not going to play any games anymore. Or they're going to go back and play retro games. You know, those games that don't take advantage of people every time they try to play a game. And side note, for anyone who says the arcades back in the day were basically like what freemium games are now, as far as, you know, putting a quarter in to play the game, it's the same thing as freemium now, right? No! At the arcade, you were going to someone else's place of business using their machine on their electricity with their lighting, and they're paying rent. Nowadays, you have your own electricity, you pay your own rent, and you're still renting these things from people. I've listened to way too many of these conference calls from these video game companies saying that they look at these video games as a service now to people, not as a one-time thing, but they want to keep making money off of you every single day for as long as possible. And if you're asking me, that's not a good way to ensure longevity in the industry that you're in. But maybe that's just me. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments section below if you think the game crash is happening now, or if I'm just going crazy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one.
We gon' make the music, make the people dance, dance. You gon' lose your shit when you hear body, hear body. You gon' lose your shit when you hear body, hear body. You gon' lose your shit when you hear body, hear body. You gon' lose your shit when you hear body, hear body.